Hey Fish Fam, this is Fishy AZ. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a video on my regular feeding routine. I'm going to show you the tanks and what I feed. So for most of the fish, I feed these Hikari bloodworms. They're frozen bloodworms. They come in little cubes. And because of the amount and the size of my fish, I don't need very many. So I cut off a little bit of the cube, and I'll put it in this little miniature red Solo cup, and I add a little bit of water to it to help defrost them a little bit, and then we're ready to go. Yummy worms. All right, here is our first stop. Right inside of the fish room is Javert, my pea puffer. You can see he's got a nice big 10-gallon tank to mostly himself. He's got a few friends in here I'll show you in a minute. But he gets really excited every time that he sees my little cup. So you can see the goby kind of hanging out down there in the bottom. All right, I'm gonna get some tools here. Oh, he's pumped, he's ready. All right, so here's a couple of things that I use to feed. One is this little pipette. It's really easy to suck up the bloodworms. The other is the tweezers. They're just regular cheap tweezers off Amazon. And those are the two different things that I use to feed. Today I'm gonna use mostly the tweezers. And you can see he's getting really excited. I'll try and bring him in frame here, 1 second. So he gets bloodworms almost every single day, and he does get snails as well. I started this tank with a bunch of Malaysian trumpet snails, and their shells are a little bit too hard for him. He can pick off some of the babies or an easy shot, but they're a little bit hard. I'll do another video about pea puffers because I know there's a lot of folks out there that love pea puffers and have seen my tanks and things like that. So I'll do a more in-depth on the species, but you can see he really loves the bloodworms, and he kind of follows the tools around wherever I have them. He's got the biggest eyes too. These pea puffers are very animated. And I feed him until his little belly gets nice and round. If it's round when I get to the tank, then I don't feed him. That means he found a snack on his own. So, but if it's not fully round, then I'll give him his food. See him munching there. You can see the goby there in the bottom. And the goby pretty much minds his own business. He's gotten a lot more brave lately. Javert close up. Look at those big eyes. He's about 1 inch long. And here's my lazy Otto, just laying on the leaf. And that's the puffer tank. So let's go to the next tank here. All right, moving on to the 20-gallon long here. This is kind of like my community tank. I've got a couple of Apistos in here, as well as some platies. The big platy is actually one of my first fish that I had, so she's been with me for a little while, and then the two youngers are her children. So, and I've had them. They were born a little over a year and a quarter ago. So with this tank, because the platies are a little bit faster at swimming, I have to kind of trick them and kind of give the Apistos a head start. So I purposefully put the food where the Apistos are a little bit closer, so that they can get a chance. You see those Apistos are really coloring up though. They're really bright. Every time I feed things other than flakes, they get really excited. I really like this tank. There's a lot of different plants in here. I've got the manzanita wood and the dragonstone off to the right. The Apistos kind of hang off usually to the right, and then the platies kind of swim in that open area. So they get a majority of the bloodworms from that chunk. and they love them. And then in the bottom, there's apistos and snails, autocinclus and snails in the bottom. The last tank I'm going to show today is the divided tank. So this is Marvin, my betta, and we'll see if he wants to do a couple of tricks today. So I'm just setting up his rings, he's getting ready. I have a new toy here in the tank today, and that is the little tube in the back right. And he hasn't had a lot of experience with that yet. So we're not going to do a ton of jumps today, just kind of just a couple, and then try and get him some experience in the tube, get him comfortable. Let's see. Oh, there he goes. So he gets a worm. Now I'll do another training video with Marvin. I've done a lot of different things with him, and you can catch some of my videos on Instagram as well. There he goes again. But he's awesome. It's been so much fun training him, and just kind of seeing what he can do, and then also seeing people's reactions when I show him. In order to get him more comfortable with that tube, though, what I'm gonna do is use the pipette, and I'm just gonna suck up some of the bloodworms, and I'm just gonna put them in inside that tube here if I can. And there he goes. This is his second time using the tube. And what I want to get to where is if I point to the tube that he goes through it all the way. But the first time I put it in there, he was a little bit nervous about it. He knows when I don't actually put food in there, if I'm just putting air bubbles. A little smarty. So this tank's really cool because it's a 20-gallon long divided up, and I'll do a review of it, but it kind of allows you to do a lot of different things. Oh, here he goes in, and he's not coming out. There's plenty of space. He's not stuck. Let's see if we can get him motivated to come through here. Drop another worm there. And with feeding with him, it's usually about 5-6 worms, something like that, depending on the size. I've seen some people feeding bloodworms that are just really long, and the ones that I get, they're never that long. He's loving it in there though. He disappeared. One thing I want to try and do is set up kind of a whole course. So he runs through the course. You can see he's found some in there. He's having a little snack. That's perfect. That's what I wanted. So all of these pieces for training, I designed and 3D printed myself at my house, and just kind of fun, patterned after the dog agility course. You can see some of the other sections here. I have shrimp in these sections. I've got this heater in this far section. Usually it's over with Marvin, but for some reason I'm having a hard time with the temperature flow across the 3 sections, so it's just over there temporarily. And then I move it back. I have thermometers on all 3 of these sections. He's looking good. So now usually after feeding, I'll do a little bit of flare training. Let's get him to come over here. See if he'll do another jump for me. He might be done. Once he's full, he just will stop training. He won't do any jumps or anything, and so he doesn't have a lot of stamina. He's really liking that tube. I'm happy about that. We're gonna try a little bit of mirror training quick before I end. I show him the mirror, and then I'll switch to that pencil. And flare training is good exercise for them. You don't want to do it too much each day because it could stress them out or exhaust them, but a couple minutes a day is not a problem. It also helps him so he flares out his fins. You can get some better shots too, which is a bonus. And there he goes. So I'm trying to work on him chasing the pencil around a little bit. And that's my feeding video today. If you have any questions or things you want to see, make sure and drop them in the comments below, and make sure and subscribe.